Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Thursday at noon, 3 and 6 p.m. and again is re-aired later throughout the weekend with the other weekday broadcast replays. Today is February 1st, 2018. Rabbit, and now the News at Noon.
Reported by the Durango Herald, a 15-year-old Ignacio High School boy was found dead Wednesday morning at his home, authorities reported. Emergency personnel responded around 6 a.m. to a home on County Road 526 just east of Bayfield, where a family member reported finding a grandson unresponsive and not breathing in his bedroom. Attempts to revive the boy were unsuccessful. He was pronounced dead at the scene, the sheriff's office said in a news release sent about 10:30 a.m. The La Plata County Coroner's Office will conduct an examination and determine a cause of death. La Plata County Coroner Jan Smith said Wednesday morning the boy's body will be sent to Montrose for an autopsy. Foul play is not suspected and there are no obvious signs of trauma, she said. Contacted late Wednesday, Smith did not have additional information about the incident. The sheriff's office said the boy was a student with Ignacio School District. Calls to the district were not returned Wednesday. The sheriff's office said it is not releasing any additional information and is allowing the boy's family and Ignacio School District to make appropriate notifications.
A Cortez man arrested after police chase with shots fired, that according to the Journal in Cortez. A man was arrested Sunday on multiple charges after leading Cortez police officers on a chase near County Road G. According to an incident report by Patrol Officer Tracy Mueller, Cortez resident Sonny Gustamentes was arrested just after midnight following a lengthy chase. He reportedly tried to pull the man's vehicle over on South Broadway about 10:45 p.m. for speeding and swerving over the fog line, but he drove onto County Road G and accelerated until officers were told to give up the pursuit about 2 miles past the County Road 21 intersection. He was arrested later that night after a Montezuma County Sheriff's deputy spotted his vehicle heading back towards Cortez, but he reportedly refused to stop his vehicle until he had driven it into a ditch and police had shot out his tires. After Cortez police gave up pursuing Gustamantes, Montezuma County Deputy Casey Eubanks reportedly followed him at a slower pace to make sure he hadn't crashed. But before the police officers returned to Cortez, he told them he had seen the suspect's vehicle heading back eastbound on Road G. Police reportedly picked up the pursuit again with more patrol cars and followed Gustamantes at about 55 miles an hour until they reached a dead end near the County Road 25 intersection. At that point, according to the report, the suspect turned off his vehicle's lights, turned around and struck a patrol car, then swerved in an apparent attempt to hit another. He then turned east onto County Road F and sped onto an unpaved driveway. When police once again tried to contact him, he reportedly drove through a fence, knocking it down, and became stuck at the bottom of a steep hill. He reportedly tried to drive backward, and the officers responded by firing 3 shots at his vehicle's tires. Sergeant Glenn Edwards and patrol officers Frank Coble and Brad Milligan then surrounded the vehicle with their guns drawn. Once he finally came to a stop, Gustamantes was pulled out of his vehicle and arrested. A small bottle of alcohol was found in his jacket pocket. He reportedly refused to take a sobriety test but was medically cleared at Southwest Memorial Hospital before being taken to jail because he showed signs of intoxication. He was arrested on suspicion of first-degree assault and several traffic offenses, including reckless driving and DUI. Police Lieutenant Andy Brock said no patrol cars were seriously damaged during the incident and no injuries were reported. During the follow-up investigation, officers reportedly learned Gustamantes had also collided with a flatbed trailer near the private driveway where he was arrested, causing it to move about 26 feet. Gustamantes' vehicle was severely damaged by the collisions. Charges are set to be filed against Gustamantes at 2 p.m. on February 7th.
Reported by PagosaSun.com. The Community Corrections Facility in Durango, Hilltop House, has issued a press release stating that an Archuleta County man escaped from the facility on Sunday, January 28th. The release states that Carlos Quintana, age 44, failed to return to the facility after being issued an approved religious pass. Quintana was serving a 3-year sentence for trespass 1 dwelling, reads the press release. The press release goes on to explain that Quintana is 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighs 250 pounds, and has brown hair and brown eyes. Quintana has several tattoos, including Victoria on his left forearm, an elk and Dolores on the upper part of his left arm, a bull skull, VG, and Victoria on his left hand, Addison Ray on his right hand, a prison tower and cards on his upper right arm, a tattoo of an elk and wolf on his right shoulder, the Virgin Guadalupe on his left calf, the Virgin Mary on the back of his right shoulder, a tattoo of an Aztec warrior holding a princess on his left thigh. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Carlos Quintana is encouraged to contact their local law enforcement agency, concludes the press release.
New members were appointed to the Montezuma County Fair Board, but they don't include two former members who withdrew their resignations. According to the Cortez Journal report, on Monday, Montezuma County Commissioners voted to appoint Alicia Bellmeyer, Kelly Kabisky, Connie Watkins, and David Robinson to the board to replace 7 volunteers who resigned in early January. 2 of those members, Brandy Simmons and Heather Frazier, withdrew their resignations about a week later at Commissioner Larry Don Sucla's request, but the commissioners chose not to reappoint them to the board. The commissioners also voted to suspend a section of the Fair Board's bylaws in order to allow the new team to vote on issues at its first meeting later that night. Sucla said he believed having 7 members instead of the previous 9 would help the Fair Board to be more efficient. He recommended that the commissioners appoint the 4 new would-be members and leave out Simmons and Frazier, saying he had only asked the latter to return because he was worried that too few people would submit letters of interest by the January 16th deadline. The appointments were approved unanimously. Both Simmons and Frazier said Sucla had led them to believe that they were guaranteed a spot on the Fair Board if they withdrew their resignations. Simmons, who served as the Fair Board vice president for several years, said she originally resigned because she felt her family had been personally attacked by Sucla and the Colorado State University Extension Office Advisory Committee, he helped to appoint in late 2017. In her resignation letter, Simmons claimed the committee had accused her of having conflicts of interest with events at the fair. Simmons was related to one of the 4-H superintendents of the 2017 fair, as were several other past and present members of the Fair Board. County 4-H Director Andrea Jeter also served as superintendent of poultry competitions, in which her daughter won 18 awards, including Best of Show, according to results provided by the Fair Board. Jeter told the Board of Commissioners on January 8th, she told the board that she would not seek that position again this year, and the 2018 superintendent list has not yet been finalized. The Fair Board is in charge of selecting open class superintendents, while the CSU Extension Office is responsible for 4-H superintendents, according to a memorandum of agreement signed by both groups in January. After the commissioners' meeting, Sucla said Simmons and Frazier had volunteered to rejoin the board for just 1 year to get the new board on its feet. He also said he believed they were aware that they wouldn't be chosen if enough new people volunteered for the vacant positions. A section of the board's bylaws prohibits new members from voting until they have attended at least 1 meeting. The commissioners unanimously approved Sucla's suggestion to suspend that rule for 1 year so that the new members could vote in a special meeting that night. The Fair Board held a lengthy meeting Monday evening to begin planning this year's county fair. They started by appointing officers. The board will continue to meet on the 3rd Monday of every month at 7 p.m. Its meetings are open to the public, and agendas and minutes can be found on the Montezuma County website under the Fairgrounds tab.
According to the Cortez Journal, Cortez police issued a summons on suspicion of DUI to city engineer Kenneth Torres on January 24th. According to a report by Patrol Officer Tracy Mueller, Torres was pulled over in the 1000 block of East Main Street shortly after 9 p.m. After reportedly failing to perform a series of roadside maneuvers like a sober person, he was given a blood draw at Southwest Memorial Hospital and released with a court summons. Torres did not have any previous DUI convictions, according to the report. Mueller reported that Sergeant Brandon Gunderson initially stopped Torres because he was revving the engine and squealing his vehicle's tires at the Mildred Road intersection. After the vehicles pulled into the parking lot of Front Row Seat on Main Street, Torres reportedly told Gunderson he'd had a couple of beers before driving, and Gunderson turned the DUI investigation over to Mueller. A portable breath test showed that at the time of the arrest, Torres's breath alcohol content was 0.129% over the legal limit of 0.08%. Torres is head of the engineering division of the city's Public Works Department. Among other things, his division is responsible for ensuring new construction projects comply with city codes and regulations. He declined to comment on the January 24th incident. As of Wednesday, Torres did not yet have a scheduled court date. And now let's take a look at the weather.
The national weather forecast shown here, provided by Raytheon data for the National Weather Service, shows a consistent path of a double low pressure system continuing to bring rain and snow to the Pacific Northwest and snow down through the Rockies and to the east. The high pressure is sitting over the southwest and in the central U.S. Snow over the Great Lakes continues with a rain-snow mix remaining over the Appalachian Range, and the big system is the rain front ahead of the low pressure system through the south and southeastern states, but today no precipitation is expected over most of Florida. Regionally, a hazardous weather condition alert remains in effect from NOAA for our area of eastern Utah and western Colorado. Snow is expected to continue over the northern and portions of Colorado's central mountains this morning, becoming isolated to scattered in coverage this afternoon and evening. Accumulations are expected to be relatively light, ranging from 1 to 3 inches over the Park Range and Elkhead Mountains by sunrise Friday. Accumulations for Colorado's central mountains will be even lighter, with accumulations of 1 inch or less. Periods of snow will continue off and on across Colorado's northern and central mountain ranges during the remainder of the week, through the weekend, and even into early next week. An area of high pressure has set up off the west coast, as we saw in the national map image, and will stay in that general area for the next several days. Variable clouds are expected as temperatures remain warm in the rest of the region south of the snow line. The DCTV 5-day outlook locally shows today partly sunny with a high near 53, east winds 5 to 10 miles an hour becoming northwest in the afternoon. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 30 degrees. East-northeast winds around 5 miles an hour. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 55 degrees. East winds 5 to 10 miles an hour becoming west in the afternoon. Friday night, partly cloudy with a low around 30, north winds around 5 miles. Saturday, sunny with a high near 51, northwest winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low down to 27. Sunday, sunny with a high near 52. Sunday night, mostly clear, a low around 29. Monday, mostly sunny with a high near 53 degrees. Monday night, partly cloudy with a low around 28. Tuesday, sunny with a high near 51. Tuesday night, mostly clear with a low again around 27. And now, back to our news.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a message from the Montezuma County Sheriff. The counterfeit $10 and $20 bills that are being passed throughout Montezuma County have two unique characteristics. The fake bills all have the same serial numbers, and the paper is heavier than normal currency. The $10 bills have the serial number ML03448909C, and the $20 bills have the serial number MK929526360E. If you receive one of these bills, do not take it. Attempt to get a good description of the person passing the bill, associates with them, a vehicle, and a direction of travel when they leave, if safe to do so. Contact law enforcement regarding the attempted use of the counterfeit bills. Another identifying characteristic of the counterfeit bills is the paper they are printed on. The paper feels heavier than the paper used to print real currency. If the bill feels heavier, check the serial number. If it matches the serial numbers provided here, contact law enforcement. Remember, criminals are always changing their tactics to avoid detection. It is likely they will change the bills they are copying, so the serial numbers vary when they hear this information has been released. Keep in mind the paper feels heavier, and use your markers to detect counterfeit bills.
Reported in the Denver Post, written by a journalist there, crumbling mine tunnels awash with polluted waters perforate the Colorado mountains, and scientists may one day send robots creeping through the pitch-black passages to study the mysterious currents that sometimes burst to the surface with devastating effects. One such disaster happened at the Interactive Gold King mine in southwestern Colorado in 2015, when the Environmental Protection Agency accidentally triggered the release of 3 million gallons of mustard-colored water laden with arsenic, lead, and other toxins. The spill tainted rivers in 3 states. Now the EPA is considering using robots and other sophisticated technology to help prevent these types of, quote, blowouts, or clean them up if they happen. But first, the agency has to find out what's inside the mines, some of which date to Colorado's gold rush in the 1860s. Wastewater laden with toxic heavy metals has been spewing from hundreds of inactive mines nationwide for decades, the product of complicated and sometimes poorly understood subterranean flows. Mining creates tainted water in steps, blasting out tunnels, and processing ore exposes long-buried sulfur-bearing rocks to oxygen. The sulfur and oxygen mix with natural underground water flows to create sulfuric acid. The acidic water then leaches heavy metals out of the rocks. To manage and treat the wastewater, the EPA needs a clear idea of what's inside the mines, some of which penetrate thousands of feet into the mountains. But many old mines are poorly documented. Investigating with robots would be cheaper, faster, and safer than humans. Quote, you can send a robot into an area that doesn't have good air quality. You can send a robot into an area that doesn't have much space, said Rebecca Thomas, project manager for the EPA's newly created Gold King Superfund site, officially known as the Bonita Peak Mining District. Instruments on the robots could map the mines and analyze pollutants in the water. A commercial robot modified to explore abandoned mines, including those swamped with acidic wastewater, could cost about $90,000 and take 3 to 4 years to develop. Researchers are also developing sophisticated computerized maps showing mines in 3 dimensions. The maps illustrate where the shafts intersect with natural faults and provide clues about how water courses through the mountains. The EPA views the Colorado project as a chance for the government and entrepreneurs to take risks and try technology that might be useful elsewhere. But the agency, already dealing with a distrustful public and critical politicians after triggering the Gold King spill, said any technology deployed in Colorado will be tested first, and the public will have a chance to comment before decisions are made.
According to the Durango Herald, as technology develops, its main mission is to make our lives easier, but when it comes to parenting, the rise of the internet has made the job only more complicated. Holly Landgren, a retired Homeland Security Agency investigator, emphasizes persistent and early training of children to develop safe online practices that will keep them safe and their parents aware of their online social interactions. Landgren, who spoke Wednesday at Christ the King Lutheran Church Community Hall, said instilling in children is as young as possible the practice of stop, think, click. When children are old enough to go online, Landgren said several practices help reinforce safety and development of an ethos of caution in children when online. Landgren said establishing the conversation of online safety early in a child's life makes it easier to have conversations about difficult topics as they age. Children, she said, must be aware that anything they post online can be used by strangers. Any photograph can be picked up and used. They must be aware that once they post something, it's beyond their control, how it will be used, she said. Children also must learn that they always have the right to say no to anyone online. Not only does this help them avoid being victimized by identity thieves and sexual predators, she said, it aids when groups of their peers use the force of peer pressure to cyberbully someone who is less popular.
DCTV covered the ribbon cutting and grand opening ceremonies for both the Public Service Center and the Pioneer Senior Services Center yesterday, January 31st, on the edge of town north of Dove Creek. A small crowd gathered at the Public Service Center at the front of the building for a brief ceremony where Jerry Baxter sang the national anthem, Pastor Mark Coffey provided a blessing for the building, and speeches were delivered by County Commissioners Steve Garcher, Julie Keibel, as well as Jim Ketter. Following that, a plaque with all of the names of those involved was dedicated along with the building itself, presented by Margaret Daves. Then the ceremonial ribbon cutting capped that part of the day, and some lingered to tour inside of the new facility, which houses, in addition to the County Roads Equipment Repair Center, offices for the GIS, the Emergency Management Director, and additional office space and a conference room. As the official delegation made its way to the new Pioneer Center for Senior Services, many of our county seniors had already found seats in the facility's dining hall awaiting the ceremony, listening to the music of Linda Carter and her group, which included local Doug Funk. More chairs had to be brought in to accommodate the roughly 150 or so in attendance, with standing room only up against the back wall. Following the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, Pastor Mark Coffey made some comments and blessed the building, highlighting the gratefulness for the dedication of so many to helping their fellow citizens in service to others. Commissioner Keibel addressed the process getting to this point of the new center, followed by Senior Service Director Nita Perkett, who's been working towards this goal for over 8 years. Jim Ketter again made his thank yous for all of those involved in making this a success along the way. Margaret Daves then proceeded with the formal dedication of the building. The plaque is mounted in the front atrium of the center's entrance for all to see. Many then joined the delegation outside at the purple ribbon stretched across the entrance post for the the official ribbon cutting. Many more stayed inside to tour the new facility, which includes a library room, activity room with a pool table, and a small workout room with chairs for getting toenails clipped, along other amenities. Senior dinner is available Monday nights and lunches on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which used to be held at the Cajon facility. They are now available in the dining hall there. The commercial kitchen is also responsible for the Meals on Wheels program to deliver food to those unable to make it to the center. The crowd continued to mingle and visit while enjoying some food and beverages among old and new friends and neighbors. For photos from the event and a live video walkthrough at the time of the event, visit the DCTV News at Noon Facebook page. For more information about the facilities, contact the Dolores County Commissioner's Office 970-677-2383.
According to the Durango Herald, New Mexico's high school juniors will have to apply to at least one college or commit to other post-high school plans as part of a proposed graduation requirement that would be the first statewide push of its kind in the U.S. The proposal is scheduled for its first legislative hearing on Thursday. Today. If it eventually becomes law, New Mexico would be the first state to require post-high school plans of students, said Jennifer Zinth, who is the director of high school and STEM research at the Education Commission of the States, a Denver-based group that tracks education policy. The bill, sponsored by Representative Nate Gentry, a Republican, and Senator Daniel Ivey Soto, a Democrat, would make it mandatory for public school juniors to apply to at least one 2- or 4-year college. Exceptions would be made for students who can prove they have committed to military service, a vocational program, or work upon graduation in an apprenticeship or internship. Parents and school guidance counselors would have to approve of the students' plans. The measure was drafted with the aim of reversing declines in college enrollment across the state, which fell nearly 14% from 155,065 enrolled students in 2010 to 133,830 in 2016. Ivey Soto, an attorney and former educator, said it also could encourage prospective first-generation college students to seriously consider getting into a higher education institution.
Today's High Canyon Country Happenings, February 3rd. The Thin Ice Challenge Skating Long Track is hosted by Lizard Head Cyclery starting at 7 a.m. up in Dolores. The long track speed skating age group event will be held at the First Pond at McPhee near the graveyard, and the award ceremony will be held at Lizard Head Cyclery in Dolores as well. There's a 500 meter and 1,000 meter distances. Every skill level, age, and skate is okay. For the participation in the local event. All types of ice skates are available as well, or are welcome as well, including figure skates, hockey skates, and speed skates. That was a mouthful. February 3rd, this is a busy wintry weekend in our area. Saturday the 3rd, the Durango Snowdown 2018 Catapult Trebuchet event is being hosted by Powerhouse Science Center from 1 to 3 p.m. at 1333 South Camino del Rio in Durango. Build a trebuchet or catapult with your engineer friends and test its accuracy at the Powerhouse Science Center. Family-friendly event. For rules and regulations, you can contact Jenny at powsci.org. And this might be great practice for the second annual Three Sisters Ag Fest and Zucchini launch coming up in Dolores County in September. Get your means of propulsion ready for action. This event will be hosted by the Dove Creek Chamber of Commerce. And it is indeed Super Bowl Sunday coming up February 4th. What a year of controversy. Most of the feedback we've seen is that a large portion of our area is boycotting NFL this year with regard to team member displays of disrespecting the United States flag and our national anthem. And here I thought it was just a football game, LOL. For those who want to see the commercials, at least, the state line will be open for any type of Sunday afternoon food and beverage treats. But now that I think of it, you can probably already go online and see most of the commercials on YouTube. But local establishments may also make available the football competition between the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles. Kickoff time is 4:30 Mountain Time, with plenty of commentary ahead of the game starting in the morning. All the happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119, and we'll be sure to get your news on the air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. on each of those days. The weekday news shows are then replayed throughout the weekend as well.
And be sure to check us out on Facebook. It's DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.